Thought she wasn't gonna watch it.
Yourself came out to LA, came to the fight, but Crawford just walked by and said, "I thought you weren't gonna watch it, but clearly your mind has changed."
Yeah, I came here to support.
Prior to their bout in September, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez held their first brief news conference, but Jaron Ennis stole the show after attacking and striking Crawford. Jaron Ennis is going to fight Canelo Alvarez because he feels so betrayed by Terence Crawford's rejection of him over the years.
I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo because, like I said before, he been pitting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200.
Alongside Shakur Stevenson and Keshin Davis, he attended the conference. When Terence Crawford was about to leave the platform, Boots pushed and shoved him away. It appears like Jaron Ennis has been preparing to advance to the middleweight or super welterweight class in order to set up his bout with Terence Crawford. During his time at the welterweight class, he faced him in multiple futile efforts. The fight's initial press conference took place in Las Vegas, where the two competitors conducted a brief Q&A session in front of a small crowd in a tiny room before heading to the media room for their first photo shoot and media appearance. Terence Crawford responded, "That's stupid, I never saw that coming." When questioned about Jaron Ennis's behavior, he ought to have come for a street brawl and allowed me to break his neck instead of running away. I have no words for him. I can't enter the ring because he is too little. After years of pursuing a bout with Terence Crawford, Jaron Ennis will now have to endure the agonizing spectacle of his opponent facing Canelo Alvarez. Ennis is a gifted athlete who now holds the welterweight title from the International Boxing Federation. He matured after Crawford defeated Errol Spence in July 2023 to become the undisputed champion at 147.
And he dropping those guys like that, so I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it, so so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight, at like 60 or like at least at 60, just to get his body, to fill into somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavy and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now, but I think he should just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
It appears that the 37-year-old Bud has permanently abandoned the welterweight class after winning the world title at 154 pounds in his most recent bout against Israil Madrimov. Crawford has long aimed to move up a weight class to challenge Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion. Finally, that battle was scheduled for September this past week. YSM Sports media interview at first. Ennis didn't declare a winner and gave Crawford the same opportunity as Canelo to raise his hand. It's a terrific battle, a 50-50 contest, and I suppose everyone wants to see.
Canelo's gonna run over him. What's your thoughts on that fight?
It's a good fight, 50-50 fight, and I guess it's a fight that everybody wants to see, so, it's a good fight.
He was then questioned about the difficulty Crawford encounters when he increases his weight. "It's going to be a little difficult," he said. "He may be slower if he puts on an additional 14 pounds. It's more difficult since you need to put on more weight and build more muscle. However, we'll see on fight night." He was then questioned about what Crawford would have to do to win that evening. As previously mentioned, Bud would have a challenging evening. Be astute. Take his time. Move and box, avoid sitting there while he hurls bombs at you. At last, he presented a strategy for Canelo's path to triumph.
How difficult is it to make that jump from, he only had one fight at 54, so like 147, 154 to 168 pounds?
You said how difficult is it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little difficult because you going to have to put on like an extra 14 pounds, so he might be a little slower, or who knows, he could be faster. I don't know. Like you got to add more weight and gain more muscle and stuff like that, moving up a weight and things like that, so it's a little harder, but I don't know. We'll see on fight night how he'll look.
I believe Canelo will have to intimidate the smaller man by pressing everything behind the stick, catching him as he tries to pull out, pull back, cut the ring off, and other similar actions. Don't let him make all the decisions. Inform him of your weight class. Ennis, who defeated Stanionis last month, is one of boxing's most exciting up-and-coming talents. He took the time to comment on the Canelo versus Crawford hype train during the buildup, and he's not exactly giving out blind endorsements. Ennis recently expressed concern about Crawford jumping up 2 complete weight classes in an interview with Fight Hub TV. Crawford ought to have a warm-up fight at 160, in my opinion, to experience what it's like to face a bigger opponent. He uttered.
What does Terence Crawford have to do to be successful in that fight?
Be smart. Take his time. Box and move. Don't sit there and let him try to bomb on him.
What about Canelo Alvarez?
I feel like Canelo had to just gonna press him, had to press him. Everything behind the stick, and catch him, try to pull back, anything,
When discussing what Crawford is up against, Boots didn't mince words. Canelo has been at that weight for a while. On fight nights, he has been dropping guys who weigh roughly 200 pounds and knocking big guys out of Crawford's smaller ones. In actuality, Alvarez may not be a natural super middleweight either, but he has a history of injuring and defeating opponents who are significantly larger than Crawford. Those who are familiar with the game's mechanics are aware of that.
Is it one of those situations where you try to punch on like the smaller man's like arms?
You might have to bully him. You might have to bully the smaller guy. Don't let him dictate nothing. Show him that's your weight class.
Despite having previously won belts as small as lightweight and 135 pounds, Crawford has disclosed that he is currently much beyond the 168 pounds super middleweight limit and is actually 186 pounds. Nevertheless, out of jealousy, Ennis has projected a loss for Crawford anyway. Although Ennis and many other boxing experts believe the Mexican will win, Ennis's father, Boozy Andis, has recently made an unexpected prediction about the fight. His dad also thought back on Alvarez's most recent fight against William Skull. Alvarez defeated Skull via unanimous decision on May 3rd in a fairly unimpressive bout. Andis believes that when a fighter moves too much in front of Alvarez, he becomes irritated. YSM Sports Media, he said.
Yeah, you brought up, and this is just a follow-up on here, you brought up one main point that a lot of fans have been bringing up. It's like, what happens when Canelo hits him? Because he's been hurting, like you mentioned, bigger guys.
Yeah.
Crawford hasn't been fighting guys that are 200 pounds, 190 pounds on fight night.
Yeah, right. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight, at like 60 or like at least at 60, just to get his body.
Canelo makes him frustrated. You can see that he is simply approaching you, and if he is unable to touch you, you understand what I mean. You understand what I mean. Did seeing that give you the impression that Terence Crawford has a greater than 50% chance? I know we saw Canelo. If he is unable to touch you, he becomes irritated. You understand what I mean. Regarding Terence Crawford's prospects of defeating Canelo Alvarez, he responded, there's a great chance because Terence can move and box. Terence is capable of punching, but he won't be a Skull. Terence is going to fight you. He is Terence from the streets, and I believe he will end up irritating because he knows what to do when the time comes. The proper way to fight Alvarez is to box him and hit him when he gets set, Canelo Andis continued. Additionally, he mentioned pulling Alvarez to the middle of the ring and warned that if he lets his guard down, he may be knocked out. I believe Terence will do what he's going to do, but Terence might stop him, he continued.
Same like a...
You told me that Terence Crawford and Canelo was a 50-50 fight. You told me Terence Crawford had a chance.
Right.
Me, I was leaning towards Canelo because of the size.
Right.
I want to apologize.
Yeah.
Because after watching that fight, I see what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'll tell you, yeah, movement. That movement all sets everybody, man. And with Canelo, he get frustrated. You see he walking to you and all that. If he can't touch you, you know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean?
Now, did watching that make you feel like Terence Crawford has better than a 50% chance? After watching, I know we see...
Reminded that Terence hasn't punched Canelo Alvarez, who has a granite chin. I know he's been in there with some amazing punchers, but the placement of the punch is crucial. He also mentioned that Terence Crawford may assault Canelo Alvarez to the body, which not many opponents have done. If Crawford does, Alvarez may let his guard down, giving Bud the chance to knock him out up top. But Tiapamo versus Jaron Ennis recently, Lopez was discussed, and Eddie Hearn confirmed that he would fight Hype.com. We are negotiating Jaron's fight against Teofimo. It seems that these discussions have not gone as planned, since Lopez has accused Ennis of evading.